Greg Payne. Uh, yeah. Okay. Got a mixed signal there. Anyway, this is Pastor Greg Payne, and I just want to address all you that are watching Christ Baptist Church. I discovered on my antivirus on my computer, Google is in connections with the NWO, and they are setting up libraries, breaking into the HTTPS and setting up personal libraries of your files. Copy. Spyware. Big time. Watch your computers. They're being tapped. They come under the disguise of updates. Watch your servers, your browsers. All of it is being monitored right now. And it, like I said, it comes in the form of updates, and it's my antivirus. I have Spyware Terminator. It's a good little freebie, and you can put it kind of under lockdown where it has, it will tell you what is downloading, whether you want it or not. And it's security violations panel that comes up, and it says HTTPS security violations reason set up library files. Whose library files? What library files? Library files on what? No, this is an underhanded thing from where. So beware. This is the beginning of a whole lot of stuff. I have mentioned about the indwelling spirit that speaks with an audible voice through your heart and soul. It's this form. It's an advanced form, a mature form of speaking in tongues. Only it comes out in English or the language that you speak, and you are actually spirit filled, where it controls your speech when you submit to it. You have to submit to it. Otherwise, it doesn't, it won't interrupt your general conversations or anything. You have to submit to it. It's praying in the spirit. I'm not talking about just dreams and visions now. I'm talking about something a little more advanced in maturity level, I'm thinking, because it all correlates with what is being said about the second coming of Christ. I picture this, and I need your guys' input because I'm not real clear. I'm getting the impression, and I could be wrong, but this is like a second Jewish Passover. The seal of God that's put on your forehead will be your divine protection. I don't trust too much of what the Apostle Paul says. I always go back to what Jesus said. And he talks about the winnowing fork is going through it. We're separating the wheat from the chaff. Those who are genuinely ready are the redeemed from the earth. Anything that is outside of that loop, and this is where I need to understand perhaps more about the rapture. I'm not discrediting it, but I am a little skeptical. It's very hard to say. Whoever is, if there is rapture, and not just a Jewish Passover type thing, there is protection. Because Jesus talked about it, when his disciples asked him, what are the signs of the times and what's it going to be like at the close of the age? And he said that the close of the age can be compared to a man who is, sowing good seed in his land. And the crops come up, and the angels come back and tell him, well, sir, we thought you planted good seed in your land, and now it's growing weeds with the good seed. You want us to pull up the weeds and take them out now? And his response was, no, let them go ahead and grow together, and at the close of the age, then we will, at the end of the harvest anyway, we will pull up the weeds then and gather the wheat into the barn and take the weeds out to a far out place where they shall be burnt, where there shall be great weeping, wailing, and gnashing of teeth. You know what he's talking about there, right? Hell. So, this kind of thing, if someone, okay, I'm throwing out different ideas here. If there's the rapture that's talked about so much, if anybody's left behind, there has to be a distinction between the saints. Those would be the martyrs. If one group is taken out because they're ready through the rapture, like I said, I'm not discrediting it. I just have some questions I need to sort out so that this all fits together logically. Because I'm wanting to make sure that I'm not discrediting anything. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, so to speak, that we are taking everything in consideration according to the scriptures in Revelation. So if you add or subtract anything, there's a curse. There's a curse on that book. So we have to be careful on what we add or subtract to that book. So we must make sure we got the prophecies correct in the way, the sequence of events that take place, or will, or already, or whatever in the future will be taking place. Okay, say the rapture comes, and the ones who are ready are removed. That means God will take the Holy Spirit out of the earth, and all heck breaks out on earth, which stands to reason. If God turns his back on it, then it's all going to go to hell, period. Okay, now come the saints. If there's anybody that's left out or left behind, then the saints, who are the martyrs, would be beaten and taken to prison and beheaded for their faith and belief in Jesus Christ. They will go through the Great Tribulation period. And God will impart the Holy Spirit for them. It's like a last call. And they have to be sincere. They have to pay the ultimate price. And they have to mean what they say. Because I can only speak for myself in regards to my own personal life. Like any of you that have followed my tapes, I've mentioned about I had an abusive mother. Yes, and it drove me closer to God because I was the eldest for 7.5 years. All I know is I was terrified of my mother. She was something else. I'm not sure what she did in my very, very younger years. I just know that as I got older and remember more of what was going on, she was very abusive. So it's something that was ingrained. I sought to seek the truth is basically what I did for self-survival. In doing so, I was trying to sort out fact from fiction, what was going on. I think it ingrained into me to be truthful or be analytical like I am now, and try to make things, not make things, but to let things fall into place so that your views of these different things will be rational and not taken out of context. I guess I actually sought the truth at a very, very young age. And I was sort of passive kind of a kid. Although, like I mentioned in other back tapes, I did play sports. I wasn't a total introvert, no. I helped my dad build 3 houses, and I played Little League Baseball, and I was a pitcher. And I had 3 years of track, got a letter in that. Shot put was my event. See, then I had college. I took weightlifting. I was a combat infantryman in Vietnam and on the DMZ in Korea. And I just sought the truth. And the inner voice I was talking about, this is a curious note. It's like letting your conscience be your guide. There was a Disney program in the 1950s with Jiminy Cricket, and I don't remember the name of the show, but I do remember the show itself. And it had Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio, who would run across the top of a set of encyclopedias, and he'd spell it out as he ran. Each book would fall down. And he'd say ENCYCLOPEDIA, encyclopedia. And as he ran across the top of the books, each book would fall down. And then he would sing, "Let your conscience be your guide," you know. I kind of took that to heart. I think that's where I got started. I was pretty young then. And that's where I learned about the inner voice. It was very subtle. It can be squelched. I think this has to happen at a very early age before the child's personality is formulated. The thing with salvation, there's certain things that are purposed in our lives that we must do. It's very important. And I think that's where the Apostle Paul waters things down and makes a generality out of this. We need the homes back. We need a basic teachings of Christ in the home and get the children straightened out. But it's a little late for that now. It's about ready to break open now. So there's no time for that. But we can at least reevaluate our own lives before we take it to the Almighty. I want to be able to find more people that share a similar or identical relationship with God. I've had the dreams and the visions that you're referring to, and some of them are quite similar. But I had them many years ago, and it was a long stretch of dreams and visions like what you're going through right now. It's like, for instance, he showed me the decay of the United States Supreme Court with a crescent moon and a star. And for me, back in the 70s when that happened, that vision, I was thinking more about that being the symbol for on the flag of Turkey, which it was actually a sign of the Islamic faith. So I wasn't real sure what that totally meant. I knew it was a sign from the Middle East. That much I was certain of. It just I didn't connect it with Islam. And he showed me when my wife was going to leave. That cost me my wife. I think some of that had to do with my childhood. Plus, I was an Agent Orange casualty in Vietnam, and that didn't help any. It caused irrational behaviors that were no good. The body does discharge that. And now I'm looking at a lot of physical damage. But with each step that we take, we have to listen to our inner conscience because he works through that. That's where he works, and that's what we need to save, is the inner person, the soul. It's rather deep and complex, and I know that. Everybody talks about, from what I've noticed, a lot of dreams and visions, which is a prophecy in Joel, which is fine. In those days I shall pour out my spirit, and my sons and daughters shall have dreams and visions and prophesying in my name. This is all fine. I went through the same thing, like I said, but quite a few years ago. But it was a 26-year stretch of nothing but dreams and visions. For me, they finally come to an end. I think a person can reach the point where you have completed the will of God. In our case, the second coming, if it comes before your actual appointed time to die, and you have come all the way up to the end to the point of the second coming, and the second coming happens to come before your actual appointed time to die, then there may be a generation that will escape death, um, both physical and, of course, spiritual death. Uh, this is where the rapture would come in. That's true. I mean, I can see rationally where it would make sense. I just want to make sure that we got all our ducks in a row, so to speak. Because it could work the other way, the Jewish Passover type thing, where the seal that's spoken of, God's seal, Satan would not be able to touch those that have the seal on the forehead. In other words, these events would happen around you but not to you. And I have experienced that in places like Vietnam and on the DMZ in Korea. I have experienced that. And you will see where I have spoken on God as my point man. I have brought up some incidences that happened to me where there was divine intervention. And, excuse me, flies. Anyway, where there's divine intervention. And, yeah, I could see how that could work as like a Passover. And if that's the case, then we would go through the whole tribulation period, but we would be protected. And there's some indication to that in the book of Revelation with the, I believe it's the 7th letter, correct me if I'm wrong. It's addressed to the Church of Philadelphia. And that struck me rather odd, because how many towns are there named after Philadelphia? And there's only one, other than the one we have, of course, in the United States. Philadelphia, the other Philadelphia, is a ghost town, and it's on the coast of the Black Sea in the country of Turkey. Apparently, the Apostle Paul gave a lecture there or preached there and was driven out. And the town went gone. It went to it turned into a ghost town, and it's been dead ever since. So it always struck me rather odd that that letter was addressed to Philadelphia, and it's some of those prophecies you must understand also are one-fold, two-fold, maybe three-fold prophecies, all depending on the situation. Those letters in Revelation are most likely probably twofold prophecies. That's what I'm thinking. One during the Apostolic period of establishing the first church, and now, today, at the end of the age. So, I could see where that could work in the way of, it's like having the blood over the lintel, and then the second coming comes, then we are taken out. And you might even call that maybe a post-rapture, post-tribulation rapture. But the bride would be protected all the way through that era. But it was, I would think, if it was a rapture, then it would, if he removes the Holy Spirit from the earth, logically, I suppose it would make more sense if that was to take place. And yeah, it would leave everything to the devil, and anyone who wanted to be saved after that would have to pay with their life, because those who were actually ready, spiritually ready, or had done the will of God in their lives before their appointed time to die, the second coming would come before that actual thing took place. Then I've heard other theories. I'm just going through basically some of the things that I've seen on YouTube that have been mentioned in recent videos. There was one theory about God's elect who didn't have to die. Was God would destroy the earth, and then a new earth would be made, and the elect who had been kept alive would be used to repopulate the earth. No, I don't think so. Because if he takes away death and old age, sickness, and ill health, if he takes away those things, then, and death, there's no need for reproduction. We live forever. So, and it would correlate with what Jesus said when the scribes and Pharisees asked him, sir, if a man had 7 wives and all 7 of them died and then he died, whose wife would she be to, I mean, what would be his real wife? And Christ's response to that was, do you not know the scriptures? That all those who are counted worthy to be in the kingdom of heaven are created equal to that of the angels in heaven, and that they neither marry nor are they given in marriage. So I don't believe there's sex or reproduction or need for it in the new world. We will just be eternal bodies. And that's the way I perceive that, and I think it correlates more with the moral law. So there will be one generation, and it looks like ours. Those of us that are actually ready spiritually and have come right up to date in their lifetime with fulfilling whatever God was requesting them to do in their lifetime, and fulfilling that purpose, so that other things would also bring other things also to come to pass, then your reward would be to escape death. And I think that's an important issue. Nobody really wants to die. So we must really think about what the prophecies are telling us, and I'm just presenting everything, all in general. This is just like a talk thing, and you guys can sign in and join me. You're welcome. Boy, I got a fly around here that's really bothering me. I think we just gotta take everything in consideration. What? An nasty little thing. Anyway, we have to take everything in consideration and be open-minded about it. And we can't fight and argue about it. That's not my intentions. Not at all. I just want to I want to throw these ideas out and let people mill them over and see what you come up with. It's open for discussion and nothing to be biased or dogmatic about, nothing to cause contentions about. It's just open for discussion. Anybody that wishes to express themselves, if they have a similar relationship with God, what I just explained to you, what I have experienced personally, then I would like to have you sign on or write me or go on video or leave a comment, please. So maybe we can help bring in God's elect. Maybe that's, I feel kind of like a calling there, perhaps, if you will. Um, so that's what has been on my conscience right now. Um, and I really want to get to the bottom of how the prophecies fit, whether it's what I started to say about the seventh letter, it's the book of Revelation about the Church of Philadelphia, was it said, I know that you have but little power and strength, yet you have not denied my name. So behold, I hold before you an open door, which no man openeth, no man shutteth, and that I will keep you from the hour of trial. And I looked that up in the Greek. I went over this on one other video. And in the ancient Greek, the word from meant to keep you through what? The hour of trial. Okay, well, hour of trial, what? What is on trial? What is happening here? In the ancient Greek, it was defined as literally the hour of death. Things were going to be destroyed, period. And that is what we need to be ready for, obviously. But how does it apply? What do we need to do? One thing we need to do is start looking out for each other. And that's why I brought up the server problem. They want to establish, apparently they want to establish a library of files on your computer that's through the government, and they want to use that to gather information. It's that simple, and it's happening now. Anybody that has these problems with their computer, please let me know. And we have to come up with an something. I don't know. We have to pull together. Right now we're all scattered apart. But that's also foretold, right? I shall smite the shepherd and the little ones will be scattered. Smite the shepherd of the flock. The shepherd of our flock has been a false one for a long time. And God finally smote him. And now the little ones are scattered all over. And we're poor little sheep who've lost their ways. And we need a good shepherd to help gather us all back together again. And so I guess that's where we stand for the time being. If any of you want to, like I said, leave a comment, please do. I've been doing this for a while and I haven't really had anything. Maybe I'm just not interested in it. I don't know, but I just want to throw these things out for open for discussion. What do you think? How do you feel? What do you experience? And please write in and let me know. And we can hash it out because there's not a whole lot of time to do much of anything other than that. So, it's Pastor Greg Payne saying, good night, and may God bless. I'm signing out. Thank you for your undivided attention, and please feel free to leave your comments. Okay? Thank you very much. Goodbye and good night.